Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like Me TV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.
On the program today, we're talking the world of sports. Ronnie Paul, you'll never guess who his uncle is or was and who he played for in the National Football League. We're talking about, well, you know what? I don't want to say it. I'll let you wait for it. Ronnie Paul is our guest today. Hey, the NFL officials, the ones that are out, they're back in, maybe this Sunday. Your phone calls are welcome, 265-4331. Back in a minute with Ronnie Paul. And if you haven't heard the breaking news, the NFL has reached an agreement with the NFL Officials Union to possibly come back this Sunday. Of course, after that total fiasco that took place on Monday night when Green Bay played at Seattle, the last play of the game, they called it a touchdown. It should not have been a touchdown. If you read today's paper, of course, not all, but a lot of people who bet on that game, that Monday night game, there were $300 million lost on that one game. You saw the officials, two of them standing side by side. One said it was an interception or a touchback. The other official signaled it was a touchdown. Of course, this season, the first couple of weeks of the season, has been a total joke, an embarrassment to the NFL. The NFL logo has been tarnished, but perhaps, according to Chris Mortensen of ESPN, the NFL and the officials union, they've reached an agreement, and the regular officials could come back as early as this weekend. And today, speaking of, we're talking about the Los Angeles Rams today, 1951. Why? Well, let's take you to the videotape and I'll show you why. I'll tell you why. We're talking about the 1951 Rams. Back in the 50s, of course, you know, the NFL had some credibility at that time. Still relatively young, a young league at that time as well. They were gaining popularity, but slowly. People were a little bit enamored with the game at that point. You know, in the 1950s, people were still talking about the hula hoop, rock and roll, Elvis, and pro football, the new game in town. In 1951, the Rams won the NFL championship, beating the Browns out of Cleveland 24-17. They had an 8-4 record during the regular season, all thanks to two great quarterbacks, Bob Waterfield and Norm Van Brocklin. They each threw for 13 touchdown passes. Now, 17 of those catches went to Crazy Legs Hirsch, who caught 17 touchdowns that year with 66 receptions. Why are we talking about the 1951 Rams? I'll show you. Let's take his picture. Put it up on the screen. There it is. Don Paul, born in Fresno, March 1925, UCLA, drafted out of UCLA by the Rams in 1946 in the third round. He played for the Rams from 1948 to 1955, and live in our studio right now, there he is wearing his jersey, is Don Paul's nephew, Ronnie Paul. He has a talk show of his own on Saturday nights. We're going to take your phone calls, talk to Ronnie Paul. Hey, the officials are coming back. We'll talk about the 51 Rams and his uncle, Don Paul. Back in a minute after your phone calls, 265-4331. Let's light up the phones today. We're having fun talking sports.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Anyway, we're talking sports today, world of sports, and the officials, if you haven't heard, probably will come back to work this Sunday. The regular officials, they were locked out because they were in a disagreement with the National Football League over benefits, over this, that, you know, the usual stuff. Ronnie Paul is here. Your uncle played for the Rams, John Paul, in 1951, of course. Good to have you here.
Thank you again. And
what do you think about the news, the breaking news?
Finally good, because Monday night and the first 2 weeks has been a disaster.
Fiasco.
Awful. And then,
what, $300 million they lost?
Yeah,
in Vegas
today's
there?
paper, there's on the betting and the gambling and everything, too, you know. One little play can cost you
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Well, if you're a gambler. If you don't gamble like me, I don't gamble.
No,
I don't worry
gamble
about
either.
it.
No.
You know what I mean?
But that was something. If you notice, the games took longer during these past 3 weeks because officiating, they couldn't come to an agreement. And the coaches got angry. If you notice, a lot of these coaches have been fined.
Yeah,
$15,000, $25,000.
Well, even the 49er game on Sunday, the officiating was atrocious. That's not why they lost, but it was still atrocious.
The fun part about it is seeing these coaches get mad. You know, it was more entertaining, but, you know, business is the big billion-dollar business.
What about the New England-Baltimore game with the last-second field goal that barely made it? And, of course, you saw Belichick go out and bump the official. And
that cost him $25,000.
He can afford it. All the millions he makes and has in the bank, come on, that's chump change to him.
I know. Even the Redskins' son, Shanahan's son, got a big fine, too. Like that. That's pocket change.
Come on. That's they walk into McDonald's with that kind of money.
Yeah,
you know, it's no
I wouldn't
problem.
mind having that pocket change. You wouldn't either.
You don't?
Huh?
You don't have that?
No, I don't have that.
I thought you were retired.
No, not yet.
Hey, let's put up another picture of your uncle, Don Paul. I do believe we have a phone call, but I want to put up his picture. There he is. Look at him. You know, I'd rather have him on my team than you. You realize that?
Well, I'm not that bad.
Well, I'll take him. I'll take Don.
No, he was all pro.
Look at that photo. It's signed, too. It's signed. You know, let's take a phone call and see who this might be. I don't know who this is. Keep that up there, though. I like that photo. Good morning. Well.
Did we lose him?
I don't know. This phone, you know what? We need to call a technician. The phone doesn't work. Now it works, but the caller isn't there.
All right, call us back. Okay.
Call us back. But turn down the sound on your TV.
Yeah. You hear that, too.
So you knew your uncle very well.
Very
before
well.
He died. Yeah.
No, he's still living. He still lives in Woodland Hills and everything.
He's still living. Okay, listen, we got to get him on the show then.
Well, we'll try. He's retired. He sounds the same. You wouldn't.
Okay, you hung out with him as a kid.
Well, what we used to do, and when he was after he played, he coached. He was on the offensive line coach, and with Bob Waterfield. So they would practice at the University, Long Beach State.
Okay.
And before that, he had a restaurant in Encino called the Ram's Horn.
Good.
Go ahead. Do we have a call? Let's go.
Let's take the call. Good morning. You're on with Ronnie Paul. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I just want to tell Ron, you know, hey, I love his program, and I love it when he's doing the high school football shows and so forth. But I wanted to make a point. I want to ask what his opinion is, and this is my opinion on the alternate refs that have been doing these games. The game has been resembling more of how it was in the 70s and so forth. And I was just wondering what you thought about that, because I mean, in the 70s and maybe in the early 80s, the wide receivers and stuff could be kind of manhandled by defensive backs, and it was kind of, you know, it was sort of like Sandlot, you might say. It was rough and tumble. You know,
yeah, but they changed.
Now
you know,
it's more kind of clean and.
Well, they changed the rules to favor the offense as opposed to the defense. You know, you got that.
Yes, of course. But then it's like it's got so towards the offense that really the defenders can't really do that much after 5 yards. So I kind of liked it because it was a little more rough and tumble.
Well, don't you think, let me get both of your opinions, don't you think it's because the NFL wants high-scoring games? They figure the fans are going to like high-scoring games as opposed to a defensive struggle.
Well,
that's why they changed the rules.
They like the high-scoring game, but now we have problem with helmet-to-helmet hit. That there's more concussions they're concerned about.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and they're worrying about that. Look what happened to. There's tons of lawsuits going on with the NFL with all these concussions.
Oh, of course, yes, I know. I mean, I watched the Raider game with Hayward Bay and so forth.
Yeah.
But I mean, you remember the games with the 49ers, and you had Ronnie Lott, and you would see him flying, you know. And flying through the air, making a hit on somebody, you know, and it was a rough game.
The Niners had Ronnie Lott, they had Dwight Hicks, They had Jack Reynolds, who used to play for your
I know they're like that. He didn't like Georgia Fontieri.
No. And on the Raiders side, you had George Atkinson, Jack Tatum, the assassin, and so it seems like
guys,
even.
They just, if you remember the Raiders back in the '70s, those guys wore what looked like essentially casts on their hands. So when they gave head slaps, it was those linemen were pretty much dazed for the rest of the game.
But it seemed as if we had fewer injuries back then than we do now. We're trying to protect everyone.
Exactly, and I think that's really what's causing a lot of the problems now, is that you have defenders that are further back from receivers and so forth, and now they have that opportunity to sort of run in toward the receiver and actually implement some really damaging blows. Yeah,
it makes a difference. It makes a big, big difference.
But thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What's your uncle doing now?
Right now, he's enjoying retired life in Woodland Hills.
Yeah.
And he goes out for breakfast every day.
We should get him on the phone, have him call in.
Well, next time we'll get them. We'll do that. But his voice is the same thing while he was commentating for CBS. He sounds the same.
Right. He went from being a player to being a coach to commentating for CBS, and you hung out with him in the booth, right?
Oh, it was fun going in the press box at the Coliseum. I met Ray Scott, Lindsey Nelson, remember with the guy that had the plaid jacket, and his partner was Gil Stratton.
Hey, before we go to break, I want to put up two photos. Let's put up the one of Crazy Legs Hirsch first. Crazy Legs, and there he is. He played with the Rams. He played with your uncle. Look at that, 1951 Rams. And then we're going to go to the one of Norm Van Brocklin. And he didn't play long for the Rams, but he did play on the 1951 championship team. And, it's amazing. These two guys played, and they had, I don't know if they played an equal amount of time, but they each had 13 touchdown passes. What does that tell you?
That tells you that, but Norm Van Brocklin still holds the record of passing over 500 yards. Well, the Rams. So no one has topped that yet.
Yeah. Charles White, number 33.
Number 33.
Yeah, out of USC, by the way. Okay.
Good friend.
Yeah. Well, we're talking with Ronnie. We're not talking with Don here. Ronnie Paul is here. Your phone calls are welcome. We're talking about his 1951 Rams. His uncle played a position? Linebacker. Defensive backer, a linebacker for the Los Angeles Rams. Call in, ask Ronnie a question. We're talking sports and having fun today.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
And we're talking sports today, specifically the 1951 Los Angeles Rams, and Ronnie Paul is here. His uncle Don Paul played linebacker for the championship team, 1951. We got another piece of video here now, because let me set this up first before we roll it, though. I want to set this up so people understand. This is Andy Robustelli. He was a defensive end for the Rams in 1951, and he's talking about all the glamour in Hollywood, how some of these Hollywood stars would kind of mingle with some members of the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know if your uncle was involved in this. Let's take a look and a listen here. Turn around, Ronnie.
That's it.
1951 championship Rams were no slouches on defense either. Opposing teams knew that touchdowns and field goals would be hard to come by when facing talented players like linebacker Don Paul and Hall of Fame defensive end Andy Robustelli.
For me, it was something that maybe was a little unusual because I came from a relatively unknown small school in Connecticut, Arnold College, which today doesn't even exist as a college. It merged with Bridgeport University, which again is another small little school. But to come out to Los Angeles and to be surrounded with not only the stars of Hollywood, but the stars of the Los Angeles Rams, in that era, they were really the dominant force, the progressive team of pro football. With Bob and Jane, I used to have a poster in my room in college of Jane Russell. And then 2 weeks later, I'm at Redlands, California, and Jane Russell is there. And Bob Waterfield on a Sunday afternoon has his keys in his hand. Jane comes in to pick up Bob for the afternoon because we had 3 or 4 hours off. Bob takes his keys and throws it to the bunch of rookies that were there and said, hey guys, use my car and get back here for curfew. So, I mean, all of those things you just never dream will ever happen.
Well, of course, there were a lot of dreams come true that year, 1951. And, you know, they mentioned in the video there, I guess at some point Bob Waterfield was dating Jane Russell, the actress, I believe.
They were dating and they later on got married.
Okay.
So
Did they have kids? Or?
They had I think a couple of kids together. Yeah. But if you remember...
Did you meet Jane Russell?
No, my father did. My father was invited to the wedding. The mom,
is that right?
Yeah, to that. But Jane Russell, people, your viewers, it was the Playtex Cross Your Heart. Remember the
well,
broad
no, I don't. That was a little before my time.
Really? No. No, she did the commercial for that, though. Yeah. But she just passed away a year and a half ago. But she was she did all those Bob Hope movies.
Well, what's your uncle doing now? What's Don Paul doing now?
He's just retired. He goes out for breakfast and
lunch.
Does
he sit back and watch Me TV or what? What's going on there?
Well, he watches a little NFL too. When the Rams moved, he lost interest, so that he didn't care for.
How do you explain the fact that Los Angeles is the second largest television market in the country, and they don't have an NFL team?
Well,
how do you explain that?
I don't know. That was a Georgia thing for some reason. It's hard to believe because you were in Anaheim. With all that Newport Beach and all that area, how can you leave all that? But the fans didn't like Georgia Fontieri. They didn't care for her. So that's why.
That's why she left L.A.
That's why she didn't want. See, Trent Dilford was supposed to be our quarterback when he left Fresno State.
Yeah.
And she didn't want him to come. So because the people from Bakersfield and Fresno would come over the grapevine to come to fill Anaheim Stadium. She didn't want that. So that's why she got two retread quarterback, Atlanta Falcons. So just to get by. This was going on 2 years before they moved. You know, she didn't want Intendus
Georgia
to come.
Georgia Fontieri, just so we update our viewers, she was the owner of the Los Angeles Rams / St. Louis Rams when they moved to St. Louis, and her husband, who died in a swimming accident. Many people believe, there are other people that think something else happened there. It was Rosenblum.
Carol Rosenblum, a very good owner.
Yes.
You know how he got that? Irsay, Rosenblum owned the Colts.
Right.
First, and Irsay owned the Rams.
Right.
And then Rosenblum says, I like to move to the West Coast. And Irsay says, well, why don't we switch teams? Because if you see the Colts colors, that's the old Ram colors.
Right.
Here, so they switched teams. So Rosenblum, only $12 million. He bought it in 1972. So and that's how he became the owner.
Yeah.
And he was a good owner. He was a good owner. And if he didn't win, he was a winner. And that's why he fired Chuck Knox, because that Ram team could have been, like Fred Dreyer said, they could have been in 2 Super Bowls during that time. Because Chuck Knox would run bread and butter. That's all they called it.
Where would you rank your uncle as far as players? Okay. How good a player was he? He was number 57, the linebacker. How good was he?
Well, he was very good because he was called, before Conrad Dobler, he was called the most dirtiest football player in the NFL.
Your uncle was?
Yeah. George Hollis says when they played Chicago, watch out for that Don Paul. Like
Why?
That.
What did he do? What did he do?
He was attacked.
Sneaky,
attacked the quarterback.
Yeah.
And then the person who took his spot was Conrad Dobler of the Cardinals. It's named the most dirtiest player of the NFL.
Well, Dick Butkus was pretty rough,
yeah, he's pretty good too. But
He
Hollis says, watch out for always in his meeting.
Paul, huh?
Watch out for that Don Paul.
Well, that's what they say about you here in Fresno.
Not that bad. No, they used to say that. They don't say that.
They say, watch out. They see you coming down the street. Hey, watch that guy, Ronnie Paul.
No, they don't say that.
They say behind your back.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I hope not.
I'm kidding. Hey, listen, we got to get your uncle on the phone here. I don't know. You don't have the phone number, do you?
Well,
right
I have it at home, but I didn't bring it. I should have brought it. We should have thought of it, but
down the road, next time.
Down the road, we'll get it.
We'll get Don on that. Hey, we can have him come here to Fresno.
Yeah, that'll be a good idea.
You can drive down and pick him up.
Yeah.
How about that?
All right, we'll use Mark's limousine and go get it.
Mark who? We're back with Ronnie Paul and Connect With Me, but first we're going to take a time out for the Connect With Me Daily Deal with Lauren Boot-Hillier in just a moment.
The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance. Enjoy generous-sized cooktops and sauté or simmer with ease, while true convection ovens offer even baking and juicy roasting perfection. Foods stay their freshest in spacious refrigerators with convenient controls and clear filtered ice and water. Easy to clean surfaces reduce fingerprints, and the quietest of dishwashers makes cleanup a snap. The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and I'm here to talk about digital television. Now, you can pay for it via cable or satellite, or you can get it free directly from the broadcast TV stations. Fresno now offers over 45 crystal clear, free digital TV channels. All the major networks, sports, news, movie channels, many in HD with no monthly charges. Simply plug your antenna into your TV and scan for channels. It's that simple. And did I tell you, it's free. Visit freetvfresno.com to get all the details.
From the pages of history and the untamed prairies of a young nation comes one of television's and America's most memorable folk heroes.
Was a man, yes, a big man.
Well, you're Daniel Boone.
Yep. Fess Parker stars as the legendary Daniel Boone, with Ed Ames as his trusty sidekick, Mingo.
Pleasure indeed. A Kentuckian named Daniel Boone.
That's me. Watch Daniel Boone, weekday mornings at 9, 8 Central on MeTV.
Back on the showroom floor at Ventura TV, I'm Lauren here with your Connect With Me Daily Deal for MeTV viewers. The Daily Deal is this convection toaster oven by the Frigidaire Professional Series. And speaking of the Frigidaire Professional Series, Ventura TV has a great selection of small kitchen appliances from the Frigidaire Pro Series, including a coffee pot, toaster, crock pot, and blender. But now back to the convection toaster oven. It has a stylish stainless steel exterior that will look great in your kitchen. And it has rapid cooking infrared technology, which offers quick preheating and cooking. And in addition, it has Power Plus convection technology, which browns and cooks faster and more evenly in less time. And we all know what a pain it is having to wait for your toaster oven to preheat. Well, with Power Plus preheat, the toaster oven heats up fast to eliminate waiting. Controls are large and easy to read and offer 8 preset cooking options, including bagel, bake, broil, toast, pizza, and much more with just the touch of a button. And it has 3 height adjustment settings and 6 rack positions, so you have more control and cooking options. The regular price for this convection toaster oven is $179, but Ventura TV's everyday low price is $149. But for the Connect With Me daily deal price for MeTV viewers, we're selling this toaster oven for only $129. That is a $50 savings. Kohl's has the same exact toaster oven, but they are going to charge you $189. So come get this unbeatable deal at Ventura TV for your Connect With Me daily deal, good through tomorrow at noon.
Great. Good job, Lauren. Thank you much. We're back with Ronnie Paul. Hey, the phone lines are open, 265-4331. Glad to take your phone call when we come back.
Sunday night.
Let's move.
A perfect night for crime. A perfect night for me.
You've got to help me.
MeTV, that is. With detectives.
My name is Gunn.
Fugitives.
I didn't kill her.
Guns. Surly.
This is the Twilight Zone.
And much, much more.
You'll go along with that, won't you?
Sunday Night Noir, starting at 10, 9 Central on MeTV.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brand's reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
And we're back with Ronnie Paul here, and I want to mention just again, just in case you just joined us, the National Football League has reached an agreement with the NFL Officials Union, and perhaps the regular officials will come back to work this coming Sunday, because the first couple of weeks, I mean, it's been a fiasco in the NFL. That, according to Chris Mortensen, he's a reporter for ESPN, and he's reporting that today. And I guess that's good news, Ronnie, because, you know, I mean, come on. You can't. I mean, it's like you and I going out there and trying to officiate a game.
Well, you know
what? It's not
what?
going to happen.
This strike they were doing, you know, these referees, they're part-time workers. And they get
but
50,
you never
60.
Know it. You never know it.
No, but they make $50,000-$60,000 a year. They get airfare, they get the first class, everything. They get pretty good deal.
And they deserve every penny of it, because look at the job that they do.
They do pretty good.
They do a pretty darn good job.
Ed Hockley, you know who that was, a referee? He still does it with the muscles and everything
the
too.
Muscles,
So now we get to see his muscles, see how much he's weightlifted over
I
the
miss
strike.
Jim Tunney. Remember him?
Yeah, very
Remember
good.
Jim
He was on
Tunney?
the radio, for 30 years.
Great
and
official.
And Red Cashin.
Referee.
You remember Red Cashin? He would go first down. Remember, he used to do that like that.
Yeah.
And then
But
Ben's right. We're going to play it over.
That's right. I remember all those names. But you know, it's not as easy as people think. I mean, we sit at home in the comfort of our own homes and watch the replay, and we can make the call. But they're doing it instantly as it happens, a split-second decision. Imagine how tough that is.
Yeah, it is tough. The toughest one, you know, what they were talking about is the tuck rule against the Raiders and New England. That was Raiders' ball.
That was. that was several years ago.
That's the one big mistake that the regular ones did.
What about the immaculate reception? Was
that one too. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That was really.
They said Tatum touched the ball or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did, but.
Yeah. That was one, and they won. If you remember the Thanksgiving Day, the coin toss against the Pittsburgh Steelers and and the Detroit Lions, they couldn't figure out who said what. That's what the regular ones are with.
Hold up this picture. You've got memorabilia that could fill up 5 warehouses. No. You got no. This way towards
there
me.
You go.
And we got a reflection there.
All right.
Big time. There we go.
All right.
Right there. Hold it right there. Don't move it. Okay. Now, this is right there. Who is that? Right there.
Which one?
That's Henry Ellard?
Henry Ellard.
Okay, that's you in the middle, and on the other side is Jim Everett, not Chris.
Yeah, Jim Rome called it. You remember that story?
Yes.
Christopher.
Yeah. Now, Henry Ellard, let me explain. Henry Ellard played out of Fresno State, and he played wide receiver for the Rams. Ronnie Paul did not play professional football, but the man holding the bag is Jim Everett. He played quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams at one point, and he got on a radio talk show with Jim Rome. And at some point, Jim Rome called him Chris Everett instead of Jim. We have a phone call. Let's take it. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question? Quickly.
My question is, the Rams in 1951 were able to win a championship. Can Ronnie kind of give me an idea as to why the Rams of the 70s, where you had like Roman Gabriel and all this talent, you had Elliott, you had tremendous defensive players, and they were never able to win a championship. They probably had more talent than the 51 Rams. What is your assessment of that?
All right. Well, thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
Well, number one, we have more NFL teams. At this time Uncle played, there only were 12 teams. So now there's more competition out there.
Yeah, but why couldn't they do anything in the 70s?
Well,
the 80s?
It was the coach Chuck Knox is to blame for that.
What was he to blame?
All he did was run, pass.
They called him Ground Chuck.
Ground Chuck, and that's what that's where Rosenblum had a fit. You know, they could air out. You know, we had good quarterbacks, you know, during that 70s and everything.
Right.
We could have won, like some guy said, two Super Bowls at that time.
Best quarterback the Rams ever had?
Kurt Warner.
Ever.
Kurt Warner.
Why?
Look what he did. He made
better
remarkable.
Than Norm Van Brocklin?
No,
come on.
At that
Ronnie.
time, for that time. Well, Norm Van Brocklin that time was good, but we were talking about at that time.
You put him side by side. I'll take Norm Van Brocklin anytime.
No, Kurt Warner did pretty good for the Rams. He put him on the
back.
He did very well.
He did okay.
Even Roman Gabriel did well. Even Jim Everett did well till that lousy that lousy game in San Francisco.
Chris Everett? You mean?
Chris Everett. No, it's hard to believe one play.
We've got 10 seconds. Why are the Rams now?
Well, this is a political thing. They make it look bad so they can come back to L.A. too. They're
going to come back to L.A.?
We're thinking they're going to come back to L.A.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
You heard it here.
Ronnie Paul.
Thank you, John.
Hey, thank you for coming. Hey, you got to come on again.
We will. We'll do it again. We'll try to get Uncle.
Okay, you got to get Donnie Paul on the phone. We got to do it. All right. That's it for today. I'm John Malos. You've been watching Connect with Me. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to our producer, Ara Kachatourian. It's the Armenian Festival this weekend. Have a great day.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
me?
Me?
Go to metvfresno.com for schedules, information on your favorite shows, videos, pictures, and more. Go to metvfresno.com today. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.